House Republicans releasing a resolution to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress. This after the GOP vowed to hold Hunter Biden accountable nearly a month ago for refusing to abide by a lawful congressional subpoena. The brief resolution directs Speaker Johnson to, quote, otherwise take all appropriate action to enforce the subpoena, end quote. The Oversight and House Judiciary panels are set to hold markups this Wednesday to consider the contempt resolution. This delay in accountability is leading many Americans to believe that Republicans are starting to accept the Democrats' double standard of justice. The political elected class versus we, the people. That's the focus in today's special guest-driven preamble. We begin with House Oversight Committee Chairman, conservative Kentucky Congressman James Comer. Congressman, Happy New Year. Great to see you, sir, as always. And as you know, when Republicans defied lawful subpoenas from the illegitimate January 6th Select Committee, it resulted in Republicans being arrested and shackled in the middle of Reagan International Airport, for example. Two questions to you, sir. Why the delay in holding Hunter accountable? And if the measure passes, which given the GOP's recent behavior is a big if Merrick Garland doesn't give Hunter Biden the Peter Navarro treatment, won't that be further grounds for his impeachment?
I think so, with respect to Merrick Garland. Look, we know how he's treated two Republicans that were held in contempt of Congress. Now he's going to have an opportunity to hold the same type of justice with a Democrat that disavowed a lawful subpoena. With respect to the timeline, we moved as quickly as we could. Of course, there was Christmas and all of that, but we've got to make sure every I's dotted and T's crossed. We're dealing with a new staff in the Speaker's office. I don't think we need to go into detail about that, but the Speaker's office has the general counsel. They have to sign off on all that. A lot of the new Speaker staff didn't start until January the 1st. So I think we're moving as quickly as we can. We're doing this in conjunction with the House Judiciary Committee, which is led by Jim Jordan. So both committees will meet Wednesday, and we're going to vote to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress. It'll then move to the full floor for a full vote. And like you said, it's hard to get everybody there healthy and on the same day, but I feel like at the beginning of next week, at the very latest, Hunter Biden will be held in contempt of Congress. That will move the ball to Merrick Garland, and we'll see if, in fact, there is a two-tier system of justice like many of us have been talking about for several months now.
Yes, sir, we will. And you mentioned the Speaker's office. There's growing fallout over Speaker Johnson's announced overspending deal with Chuck Schumer. The deal puts the GOP label on the Democrats' massive profligate overspending levels once again. The Speaker is calling this, quote, the most favorable budget agreement Republicans have achieved in over a decade. The overspending proposal of $1.6 trillion, largely in keeping with the Democrats' demands, mirroring the side deal former Speaker McCarthy struck with Democrats last year. Two questions here as well, Congressman. How is accepting the Democrats' overspending a GOP victory? And has the GOP abandoned regular order? Has the GOP admitted it just simply can't accomplish the 12 appropriation spending bills?
Well, it's certainly been a disappointment that we have been unable to pass the 12 appropriations bills. There's a willingness to do that. It's just, as you know, they can't agree on the number of cuts to make. There's no number that would scare me. I've been very vocal about this. I think we need to make significant cuts. That's what we spend a majority of our time on the House Oversight Committee, identifying waste, fraud, abuse, and mismanagement in the federal government. We make recommendations to the Budget Committee and the Appropriations Committee, but for whatever reason, there hasn't been as much enthusiasm as I would like to see, which Mike Johnson said this is the best spending plan in a decade. Probably is true because it does cut spending a little bit, not enough to suit me. But at the end of the day, anything that doesn't continue to increase spending is probably better than what we would have if the Democrats had complete control of Congress. That's sad to say, but that's the reality we live in with a Democrat Senate. I'm going to keep fighting for more spending cuts. I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of my colleagues that are going to have a lot of questions for Mike Johnson tomorrow when we return to Washington. And look, you've just got a split conference now. There's people that want to make some minor cuts, and there's some of us and your next guest, Tim Burchett, who's also on the committee. We want to make a lot of cuts. So we're trying to get a compromise there. And at the end of the day, I think that the message is going to be clear. There will be less spending this year than there was the previous year, and that's mediocre, but it's better than the alternative.
Congressman James Comer, appreciate the time, sir. As always, we'll get you back on soon.